Hi everybody and welcome to a new video with mostly old material. I shall explain. If you're coming across me for the first time, if that doesn't sound rude, thanks very much for tuning in. I am the Retro Bear, coming to you live from my small bedroom in my house, bringing you all some rather interesting pickups and stuff which I tend to do a lot of, also some gameplay and some other bits and pieces of my collection. If you are new to the channel, please do feel free to have a scan through, and if you like what you see, do all the subscribing and liking stuff that we all do on YouTube. If you are back again for some more punishment, hello. It has been a while, hasn't it? And this really is now going to be, I can hear the sound of the barrel being scraped. This is going to be the pickup equivalent of the Simpsons 138th episode spectacular, containing approximately probably about 15% new footage. For those of you who've tuned in and saw my channel update a few weeks ago, I did mention that I've sort of hit a very completely dry patch at the moment in terms of picking games up. That's what I tend to do a lot of. And I posted a video a few weeks ago saying that it hadn't sort of changed, and to be honest with you, it's still exactly the same as it was before. Nothing's changed. It's still terrible in terms of getting the games picked up, and I'm sort of getting absolutely nowhere. So I thought, well, the feedback people they gave me from the last video was two things. One is they enjoy the pickup videos, and two, they like seeing a game room tour. So a couple of updates for you before I get to the meat of this video. Upcoming videos I am planning on doing, yes, more people requested a game room tour than anybody else. Anything else. So I will do that, although I shall warn you, as I didn't give them reasons to a number of people, it's not a very big room, as you can see. You've probably seen most of it in the background anyway, and when I've had the camera around the other way, over here or over there, you've sort of seen what's over here. So there isn't an awful lot to do in the room, but obviously, and there's no sort of like secret setup, everything's sort of plugged in through one switch. I just press a button and that comes on. No, but I'll take you all through that. It's no problem at all. I can do that, and it's probably a good way of doing it. Plus the fact I've got a lot of stuff spread out across the house, and I don't want to sort of have to sort of cut the video up into 2 or 3 sections and say this is the game room and this is the room, because I don't want to take you around my house, because this is not Lifestyles of the Poor and Needy. So what I will do is probably do another video leading on from that for some other stuff which is elsewhere, and sort of bring that in here and show you that. And that might come across 2 videos, because I've got stuff everywhere. It sounds like I've got things literally piled up in corners of the house. If you ask the missus, she would say yes. If she asked me, I would say it's not as bad as you think it is. Also, other videos I'm going to try and do. I'm very close to 100 subscribers. I thought I might have been there by now. I was sort of rocketing along in the middle of February, and then when the pickups dried up and I sort of ran out of things to show you, it sort of stopped and then sort of dripped down. So if I get over 100, which I'm very hopeful to do, I got to within 1. I got to 99, and then somebody unsubscribed me. How dare you? Now I can understand the reason why. If I was me, I'd be unsubscribing myself as well, if that makes any sense at all. No, it doesn't. So if I get over 100, I've got a new idea of some new videos I can do as well, and hopefully once the weather turns and gets a bit warmer, I might do a few car boots this year. I didn't do many last year. I think I did 1, but there might be an emphasis to try and do a few more this year if I'm not getting the joys in the high street. So lots of things planned today. As I said, this is very much going to be a recycle video, because what I've pulled in is I thought, well, I'll just show you sort of things I've picked up over the years, because it is technically a pickup, I suppose, really. That's making a very strange noise. Why is that making that noise? Okay, it's going to carry on making that noise. Okay, so if it sort of goes in a puff of smoke and I catch fire, 1, I'll probably get more views, and 2, don't worry about it. It's all part of the show. So yes, this is going to be stuff I've picked up over here. Some of it you would have seen, because I've been sort of doing pickup videos on YouTube for about the best part of nearly 12 months anyway. A lot of those early videos didn't get many views. And by say views, I mean less than that. So what I'm doing now is sort of going to show you some stuff that you may have already seen, some stuff that I've probably put on YouTube but you missed, and also some other stuff from years gone by which I've never shown because I bought it years ago. Some of the stuff nearly 10 years ago. And I just try to pull across all different formats and all different consoles and systems. I've shown off more stuff for some than others because one, for example, say the Xbox 360, I've put a lot of that stuff. I bought that in May last year, so pretty much every single game I've bought for that system has been been chronicled on YouTube. But I pulled together a few of those bits and pieces because I think they deserve to be shown because they're quite nice. Other stuff I've never shown before. Other stuff I've got very little to show for. I just sort of picked a couple out because I can tell you a little story behind them. I can try and remember what I paid for some of the stuff, but I think if you see it on here, I would say, unless it sort of springs to mind, that a lot of this stuff was bought for under a £5, even at the peak of when I started buying stuff in 2009, 2010. And most of that stuff probably would have come out of car boots. I was probably paying maybe £2-3 a time. Some of them will spring to mind. Some of them I've paid more for, which I've not included in these videos because there's no sort of special reason for including them. They're not especially rare titles. Some of these I'm hoping to be interested for you. So let's crack on, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? Now, I've just got it all piled up in front of me here, so if I sort of lean over and stuff starts falling over and makes lots of noise, yes, that's what's happening. I've knocked a pile of games over, as I usually do. You didn't see me trying to take, you can see gaps in the Wii shelf just slightly here. Sort of watch me trying to climb the sort of the Xbox 360. We can't see. I've also been sort of standing on a swivel chair trying to pull stuff down off the shelf, and nearly had an accident with a lot of Wii games which you can't see up there. So I'm going to start with the GameCube, because I don't have many games, about 40 GameCube games, but a couple of these are quite interesting ones. First one I'm going to show you is F-Zero GX. Now this is really interesting because the initiated amongst you will probably recognise what's going to be the issue with this game. And if I just turn it round onto the side and show you, this is actually a US version of F-Zero GX, and you can also see actually from the bottom there. This was purchased from a car boot sale many years ago. I expect I'll probably paid a couple of quid for it. And then joke's on me because I haven't got a GameCube that can play American games. But I think it's quite nice, and it actually sticks out. That side, it sticks out there because the GameCube logo should be up there, and it's not. It's down here, so it sort of sticks out with the rest of the ones. But if I ever manage to do that, I might be able to play it. I'm going to look at the point of the disc. Is the disc any good? Yeah, disc actually is in pretty good condition. So yeah, just a curiosity. I picked up many years ago, but I never actually played that one. This one's going to be very unremarkable in the fact that this is the Scorpion King on the GameCube. You're thinking, well, what's remarkable about that? Picked this up last year in a charity shop for, I think, £1.50. And it was only when I opened up the inside that it sort of struck me that it wasn't actually the Scorpion King, but if you can see that there, it says Star Fox Adventures on Star Fox Adventures. Freudian slip there. So immediately I thought, I'll have that. I want to show you the back cover because it's not nothing to do with the game I bought. So I don't have a copy of the Scorpion King, but I now have a copy of Star Fox Adventures. I'm hoping that somebody somewhere thought they were getting a great deal when they went into that charity shop and saw the Star Fox Adventures box and thought I should have that, and then got home and found out it was a copy of the Scorpion King. Ha! Victory. This one I can't remember, honestly, in truth, be told where I got this from, how much I paid for it. It's going to be a car boot, that's for sure. And this is Mario Party 5, which I think, I mean, I've got Mario Party 5, Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Resident Evil 4, this one, some other games which are sort of like ridiculously priced at the moment. And I picked those up all when they're dirt cheap. I think Mario Sunshine I might have paid a £5 for at a car boot. I think Luigi's Mansion I probably paid £4 for at a car boot. But that was when, again, they were sort of still retailing double, if not triple the price. I know they've gone a little bit further than that now. This one, I just don't, I can't remember where I got it from. But this is Mario Party 5, all complete. And I didn't realise it's not. I think is it 4 or is it 6? There's one of these on the GameCube which is ridiculously expensive. It might be the one before this, or the one after it. I don't know. There, and then finally a game which I get absolutely staggering belief every time I see it. It's got a horrible nasty scratch on the back of that. Amazing that works, actually. I'm surprised that game actually works. I'm always astounded by this one because it seems to go for stupid money on CX, and it's Doshin the Giant. I've only ever seen this once before out. This again has come from a car boot, so again I've probably paid a stupid amount for it. The manual's in lovely nick, and there's actually a GameCube sort of game poster in there as well. But the disc, and this does work. I've tried it, but this disc is ropey as anything. Yeah. It does work though, it does work. So that's some GameCube games there. Those are 4 games I've got at my 40-odd GameCube games, which have got interesting stories and things behind them. Let's move on to one of my least favourite consoles, which is the Sega Saturn. I'm only showing these 2 games because I think probably they've got the most interest of any game that I have at the moment for the system. A lot of my, in fact all my Saturn stuff came when I bought a Saturn, a Super Nintendo and a Dreamcast off eBay for about 50-60 quid, I think it was, for the 3 systems, and they all came with a load of games and bits and pieces. And why won't this bloody open? Okay, it's not going to open. So Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, which I'm pretty sure I've heard something on YouTube and someone's mentioned this. I've read something about it. Apparently this game's got some sort of like fault with it. It crashes or something. Ah, there we go. Oh, that was a... Pull that open. There's an inside of a Saturn box. It's actually one of the hardcovers, so it's still complete, which is great. There's a little Saturn leaflet in there as well about some of the games that are coming out. Manual's in good condition. But it's never been one of my favourite systems, a Saturn, I must be honest with you. It's a platform game. Croc. A couple of different variations of it knocking around. So that came with the bundle, and also I got a copy of Sonic R as well, which I'm going to show you, because that's I've got all the sort of generic titles for the Saturn, like Alien Trilogy and Tomb Raider and a FIFA game and Command & Conquer and Die Hard Trilogy and all the stuff you would expect to have for the Saturn. Virtua Fighter 1 and 2, Virtua Cop 2. I've actually got the light gun as well, and these bloody cases are terrible to open. That's the back of Sonic R. I'm not going to show you the inside. Not very good, that one. One of my least favourite Sonic games. If you can have least favourite Sonic games, there's quite a few of them, but that one is not a good one. It's alright, but it's not Sonic the Hedgehog, you know what I mean? You buy Sonic game, it's with that. I've also been very lucky with Saturns over the year, because the Saturns I bought 3. This one off eBay, and then I bought 2 other Saturns at different car boots for £1 each. I'll just show you a Saturn actually. There you go. That I think is the one I bought for 15 quid, and the other one I bought 3, like I said, just so I've got one. And the other 2 I bought, one of them I've given to a friend of mine because he collects, or he had all the Sega consoles. That was the one he's missing, and the other one I kept for myself. And yeah, two separate units, no lead or anything with them, complete punts at £1 each, car boots out, and they work. The only thing that's wrong with them is the memory, the clock memory, which is a watch battery. Anyway, so that's the Saturn. Super Nintendo stuff, again, not many. Most of it's all loose. I'll show you this one because I talked about this in a video with Retro Dude. I think we briefly talked on Animaniacs, which was a great cartoon series. And also it's actually a pretty good game, this one. It's really good to play. This again came with a bundle. I've been quite lucky because I've picked up a few Super Nintendo games separately, and I'm going to show you another one in a minute, from the bundle I got, but I've not bought any for a long time. I think the last ones I bought probably would be Donkey Kong Country, all loose, just be loose, Super Mario All-Stars loose, and Pugsley's Scavenger Hunt, which I think was the last one I bought again a few years ago at a car boot sale. I think I paid a couple of quid for it. So yeah, that's Animaniacs on the Super Nintendo. Now also I've actually got 3 games for Super Nintendo, which are boxed. And I've only got 24 in total. It's actually the complete opposite of my Mega Drive collection, because Mega Drive games got about 30 games, and 2 of those are loose. Everything else has got at least a box with it. With the Super Nintendo stuff, everything apart from 3 of them has got all the cartridges loose. So this is probably the best example of a boxed game I've got for SNES. as the creator calls it, is Jurassic Park. And I bought this for, I think, the grand sum of £3 at a car boot sale years ago. And it's a lovely looking box. I'm going to open it up because I'd like to show you it's not completely wrong. We have the manual inside. I have the cardboard insert and also La Gamme. The game is in there as well. Shame the manual's a bit bent over. I'm a bit disappointed with that because it wasn't laid out properly. But the box is in, you know, it's got a bit of scuffing around the outside. There we go. Purists are going to be spitting their tea out in disgust. But for me, that's the best example of a Super Nintendo game that I have. It's a system I played an awful lot on growing up, but I must admit I've always favoured the Mega Drive over it. But yeah, nice looking condition. That a few probably going back 12-18 months or so, in that condition was about 25 quid in CX. I think it's come down a little bit since then. I've mentioned the Mega Drive, my favourite console probably of all time. A couple of games which sort of stick out for pickups again previously. This one here, Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition. This, if you remember, at the time when Street Fighter 2 was meant to be sort of a Nintendo exclusive, I think. Street Fighter's got a funny history. The original game and the original arcade game and the home conversion were terrible. I'm really surprised that when Street Fighter 2 came out, everybody started raving about it. Oh, Street Fighter was bloody rubbish when it came out. But I've never been a fan of it. But again, this was at a car boot for, I think, £2. Certainly no more than that anyway. It's just, see, it's got these lovely Sega boxes. It's got the clip on the top there. You open it up. It is complete on the inside. The instructions are incredibly tatty. Does let it down a little bit because someone obviously wanted to make sure they got all the right moves sorted out. But again, quite a few of these Mega Drive games I do have in boxes do have the instructions and are bordering on complete in pretty good condition. You can see the Sega label still down the side there. I'm not a Street Fighter 2 fan, never have been, but you don't walk past these at that price. And again, this was another game that a few 18 months ago was sort of in the 20s when CEX started taking retro in again. I'm not sure how much worth now, but probably about 15 quid. That's great. This one's a bit of curiosity because again, I just sort of saw it's a car boot sale. It's on Mega Drive. I buy it. It's £1. And this is, and I've been told this is rather good, Dragon's Fury, which is a pinball game. And I don't play pinball games. I'm not a big fan of pinball. I used to play Pinball Dreams and Pinball Fantasies. A couple of friends of mine were absolutely into that back in the day. And to be honest with you, I never really got the appeal of pinball. I think it's much better to play on a pinball machine. As you can see, this one again complete. Got a nice looking manual on that one. I've been told it's an absolute belting game. It's actually, I suppose we use that terminology quite a lot. This sort of like collecting gaming lark, which is sort of a hidden gem. That certainly would be one. The other hidden gem in the fact in there was when I bought it, there was actually a Mega CD disc in there, which is fantastic. So I don't own a Mega CD. This is the Sega Classics Arcade Collection Limited Edition, featuring that old favourite columns, Golden Axe, Red Avenger Shinobi, Super Monaco Grand Prix and Streets of Rage. And that was in the box. So Brucey bonus for £1. Dragon's Fury on the Mega Drive. Rolling right along, let's do some PlayStation 1 games. What am I showing you here? Oh yeah, this game I think is absolutely underrated and it is worthy of your time should you find it. I had it originally when I had a PlayStation and I bought it again since then, and that is Sheep, which is basically what it is. You are a herdsman and you're travelling and you're moving sheep around, and it's a lot more interesting than it sounds. This one is in complete condition. I'll just show you the inside of that. Nice looking disc there, actually. I like that one. Worth your time. If you come across this one, do pick it up because it's an interesting concept. It's done in a cute style. It's 7 wacky worlds, 28 futuristic levels. It is quite a tricky little game, but again, if you see it, pick it up. It's definitely worth your time to invest in playing in that one. Yeah, this one, GTA 2, I never actually had this back in the day. I actually had when the GTA first came out. I had that one. And a big crack in the back of the box, but it's actually a under the surface crack. So I had this when GTA when it first came out, but I didn't have GTA 2. So I'm rather excited to get this one. Let's show you the inside there. So again, nice to pick this. This goes with the early Grand Theft Auto. Some people don't like the early games; they much prefer the open world things, which is absolutely fine. I can understand that. Little bonus as well. It's actually got the map inside it. So there's your things, and of course these well known now are sort of like Liberty City, aren't they? And whatever they are. Although this one does actually sort of say downtown section, industrial sector, and something else. But yeah, I didn't know that was in there. I'd completely forgotten it was in there. Or perhaps I didn't know it was in there in the first place. Anyway, so again, car boot pickup, no problem. This one was a charity shop pickup, I know, because I only bought this last year. And it's Attack of the Saucermen, and I think I paid either 30p or 50p for this. I don't know, and I didn't realise when I got home. Until I got home and checked up about it. It's actually quite a rare game, but it's one of the sort of less well-known ones and a bit more sought after, and does fetch a few quid. I've had a go at it. It's a bit sort of strange. It must be not my sort of game. It's by Psygnosis as well, who had the reputation at the time for PlayStation, doing a lot of games on PlayStation. They'd sort of started years and years before, sort of doing platformers on the Amiga, like Shadow of the Beast and things, and that one with the owl in, the one with the bee in, shoot 'em ups, and then they sort of launched themselves on PlayStation with Formula 1 games, and of course they did Lemmings before that, and so yeah, I knew nothing about that game when I picked it up. I was actually sure to find it again, 30 or 50p. This one's got a crack in the front. Oh, I've got a crack in the front. There we go. But it's actually one of my favourite games. It's Bruce Willis Apocalypse, which actually features Bruce Willis, not only his likeness but his voice as well. And I think at some point there was a falling out in the making of this, and it didn't quite end as it should have done. I think there was a falling out between actor, artiste, and Activision. How many A's did you get in that? Actor, artiste, Activision, Apocalypse, literally speaking. But I remember I had this when it first came out. I had it for Christmas the one year. It must have been 97? 98. I had it for Christmas. And I spent most of Christmas Day playing that. Christmas Day 1988, playing as Bruce Willis, as Trey Kincaid. That's about right, isn't it? Yeah. Again, I've picked that up purely because it's the one I used to have, and it's a great little game. Really is quite fun, little shoot 'em up, running around, great stuff. Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't have many of these. So what I've got here is when I bought a NES, it came with I think 6 games. I think I paid about 20 quid for it. 6 games and the light gun and 2 controllers. So I didn't do too bad out of it. It's not one of the just show you. It's not one of the Mattel ones. I've shown this. If you watch the Retro Dude interview, I did show this off at the time. I've never been a big fan of this console. I just don't like it. Not that I don't like the games or anything, I just don't like the console. It looks horrible to me. It's a big grey box. And it came with about 6 games. I think I've added about 4 since then. One of the games I got originally with it, I mentioned this because I played it on other systems and I love it, which is Iron Man Stewart's Off-Road Racing. I could show you the back of that actually now. I've not got any boxed NES games. I've got one game which was, I'm not going to show you because I've already shown you one game from that series, which is Jurassic Park. And I've got that with a Nintendo sleeve, which I picked up a car boot sale for probably about 3 quid, I think it was. The other one I spent an awful lot more on, which I was, again, I think last year. And I bought that from CEX, Super Mario 3. I think I paid 10 quid for it because it was in such good nick. It really is a nice looking one. I've checked it all out for sort of authenticity, and it is authentic. So I was quite pleased to get that one. It's not a repro. It's in good nick, and I've actually got Mario 1, 2 and 3, including a US copy of the second one as well. So not got many of those to show off. I just, you know, not a fan of the NES. Like all Nintendo's other consoles, I like the other ones. Yes, the other ones they did. Those other ones, yes, loved all those. Super, even the Game Boy, I prefer to the NES. Strange. Dreamcast. Now, I don't have many games for Dreamcast. Again, the Dreamcast came in a lot. I bought, I think, 2 or 3 games since then, none of which I'm going to show you here. So I am going to show you is Plasma Sword, which is a Capcom fighting game. I don't know anything about this, I've got to be honest with you. And then I sort of do a bit of reading about it, and people say, it's really good, this game. It's a fantastic game, and, it's fetches a fair few quid and stuff. So you can see the inside there's all complete. There's a disc, there's a manual. Really good, Nick. I've got no idea where this came from. I'm pretty sure this came out of the lot I bought when I bought the Dreamcast. Again, part of that Super Nintendo and Saturn and Dreamcast lot. I've never played it, so I can't tell you anything about it. I must have had it nearly 10 years. I never played it, I don't know. And the other game I've got, which came in that same bundle as well, and I'm showing you this because it's an interesting story, to be honest, which is GK Giant Killers, which is actually a football management game on the Dreamcast. Now, I don't play football management games other than Championship Manager from 93, 94 up till Football Manager 2005. Anything after that, and probably only Tracksuit Manager before that on the Commodore 64 have I ever actually got to grips with in terms of playing a football management game. Nothing else sort of falls in after that, and yeah, I just can't do it. But this one I was really surprised at. Now, this game, at some point I have seen copies going for, and again this is going back a few years, close to a couple of £100, because it was quite a rare game. It probably still is quite a rare game, but there was a lot of I used to see a lot of people selling it on Amazon and eBay. They were pricing them up that time, but I know Amazon, they had a couple certainly, which were priced certainly at the 3-figure mark. I'm not sure it's worth as much now. I think it's probably dropped back down quite considerably. There's the manual for it as well, so you can see. But yeah, again, something I didn't realise I'd got, and how much the value with it was. So yeah, there we go. I don't know if it's any good. I never played it, but maybe worth a go. So a couple of games from Dreamcast. I've got about 20 odd games for them, but those probably the only two that sort of spring to mind as sort of worthy showing off. What should we do now? Let's do some Xbox, shall we? Original Xbox. So I've got Xbox, PlayStation 2, 3, Xbox 360 and the Wii to go. So if you're staying tuned, just make yourself a cup of tea very, very quickly. Or hurry back. Pause it, make yourself a drink, come back. Some of these, again, you may have seen recently because I've only sort of really added to the Xbox collection over the last sort of 12, 18 months or so. So some of these might be ones you've seen before. Some of these I can guarantee won't be. I'm just going to create some space over here at the moment. Move things around so we don't fall, stuff doesn't fall over. First one up is Black, which is the shoot 'em up which everybody appears to want a sequel to. Never got one. EA, what were you playing at? I got this for £1 in the charity shop, in really good condition. I love the start of this game. Just load the game up and just watch the gun come on the screen, just fire the bullets out. It's yeah, it really is good, and makes full use of the power of the Xbox. I haven't got the PlayStation. I've got the PlayStation 2 version, the Black Label Platinum. Not played that as much as this one. Here's one I didn't get from a charity shop. I actually got this from, I think, Game Station back in the day, and I think I paid probably about $4.99 for this one, which is Conker Live and Reloaded, which I think now goes about 3 times that value as a standard. This, if you don't know about Conker, he was a character created back in the Nintendo 64 days, a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day, which was a sort of an adult take on sort of things like Donkey Kong and Mario. There's also an updated version of that Conker's Bad Fur Day on this game, and I think the whole point of this one was built around an online battle mode. But yeah, if that's the sort of thing you're into, this is really, really good fun. Excuse me a second, my good grief, my tea appears to be coming back. There we go. Too excited about Conker's Bad Fur Day. No, really good stuff. I did pay $4.99 for it back in the day, which is quite a lot, but then again, I wasn't collecting as much as I was back then. That was just sort of me being in I know where I got it from. I can tell you, Game Station in one of the big city centres up where I live. And I think the same time I bought Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast for probably about the same price. I know I got them. I know I got them at the same time. I probably paid the same price for them. This one I did get last year, but this is where it all began. I played a lot of Forza 3 and 4 on the Xbox 360. No manual this one, unfortunately. But this is where it all began, and it's still a good game. Again, like Black, it makes full use. If you can sort of get your Xbox running at the HD resolution it should be. Is it 720 or 4? I think it's 720. I don't know. You can do something to it. It's beyond me. You can sort of really turn these up, or if they go backwards compatible with the Xbox One, they'll be fantastic for playing. This one, again, I think I picked a quid at CX. It's going up a little bit. It's a bit more expensive now, but 3 or 4 quid. I say a bit more expensive. But yeah, really fantastic game. You can see why Forza has just sort of gone on. Then that Gran Turismo just keep going and going and going. It's like FIFA and Pro Evo, isn't it? I call it Pro Evo anyway. Yeah, Pro Evo. Like, yeah. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which I got from a charity shop recently, or in the last 12 months for, I think it was 50p or a quid. No manual with this one, boo. But there was a trailer for Harry Potter's next video game, The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is coming out then. But this one, again, being the earliest Harry Potter game, is quite hard to pick up. And again, you'll take it to CEX and they'll give you peanuts for it, and they'll sell it for a fortune. I think it's in it 20-25 quid. Same with the PlayStation 2 version. I haven't got that one. I've got Chamber of Secrets, but I remember playing Philosopher's Stone on the Game Boy Advance. It was quite good fun. So, but I'm not a Harry Potter fan. This one I got from a car boot years and years ago. I haven't seen it since, actually. It's Metal Slug 3. And I bought it because I recognised the name Metal Slug. I thought I better get that because I know I've heard about these games when they came out on the Neo Geo and in the arcade. It's still got the original bite mark out the box. I think probably because the seller was hungry. Probably paid a couple of quid for this. I think more than I'll usually do so. But it's complete. And it's really good, Nick. If you've never played Metal Slug, it's a game you've got to play. One of those games you've got to play before you die, because it's just outrageously silly, violent, with a cartoon element thrown into it. It's really good fun. Definitely worth a go. Outrun 2, because everyone loves Outrun. Outrun, one of the first arcade games I sort of really got into. There's 2 versions of Outrun. Outrun on this generation of consoles. The other one is Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. That goes for quite a bit of money on the Xbox. I think it's knocking on a few months ago, about 30 quid. This one, it's pretty good. I think Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast takes the title as better the game too, but better of the games. But that's pretty good fun, and if you can find that, it's a lot cheaper, and it's definitely worth your time playing on that one. Again, I got that at car boot, quid. I'm going to show you this one because I've never actually seen it since I picked up a car boot sale for a quid. Playboy The Mansions. I'll show you the cover very briefly. You may want to pause that, I don't know. It's completely complete, and it's about the Playboy Mansion, and I feel a bit embarrassed having it now. Yes, I do feel quite embarrassed, but I don't know why I bought it in the first place. Oh, I know why I bought it in the first place. It's Playboy, isn't it? 10 years ago, I was a lot younger. And, yeah. Interesting, anyway. Red Dead Revolver. I've got this on the PlayStation 2, but this one is more remarkable because I think on the PlayStation 2 I paid a couple of 3 quid for it. This one I paid £1 for it in a charity shop last year. And it's complete as well, which is great. I love this game. Played it quite a lot on the PlayStation 2. Not so much this version, but it's a fantastic game. I love the cover. Absolutely love the cover. And of course by Rockstar, who did all the Grand Theft Auto and the Bully game as well. Well worth your time investing in that. Certainly if you can pick up cheap enough anyway. And a couple of real sort of like cheapies again. Charity shops last year. You may not have seen the video, probably because it was shot and nobody's watching it. Time, there we go. This is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, which I paid approximately 25 pence for. And I love Super Monkey Ball because that was one of the games on the GameCube that I absolutely adored. And I had absolutely no interest in it when I first bought it. I thought, we'll have the game with the monkeys in then, shall we? And it was just the best game ever. No manual, unfortunately, but yeah, 25p from a charity shop. And from the same charity shop a few weeks later, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year edition. And again, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting with this one because I paid 25 pence for it, and when I got home I found out that it was regularly being sold for between 25 and 30 quid. Couple of things which I'm not convinced with. Firstly, there's no map. I believe there was meant to be a map with that edition, and secondly, someone appears to have eaten the manual, or lit a fag or something with it. Possibly that sort of like wolf on the has eaten it. I don't know. It's not a game I'm gonna. It's like I've got a copy of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim game. I'm not going to play that. 'Cause it's not my sort of game. And I bought that because it was like 50p. Same reason I bought that because it was 25. But I didn't realise at the time the value of it, which makes it a bit more palatable, I suppose. Palatable, yes. Moving swiftly on, let's do some PlayStation 2 because we're all beginning to lose interest. Yeah, this is again a pick up in CEX. Pay 50p for this. This is the steel book version of 24. I know it's steel because when I got it off the shelf yesterday, I dropped it on my foot and it hurt. There we go. Really nice on the inside. It's not. I think it was a missed opportunity. Remember 24 from back in the day? People loved that program. It was everywhere. But the game, it just doesn't capture the right essence of the TV series. It's got the the bits in between, the clock flashing and that, but it just doesn't come together. It's nicely done, but it's just, I think, a missed opportunity there. It's a fairly average sort of game at the end of it, but brilliantly put together. Interesting one. I bought this one again. I think it was off Amazon last year or 2 years ago. I think I paid a couple of $2.50 for it. This is Demolition Girl. Now you might be wondering, hang on a second, I'll show you Playboy. I'm now showing you another game with a half-naked woman in front of it. There must be a pattern developing here. But when I bought this game, I sort of looked at the front of it and I thought, well, that looks to me like it's some sort of like action thriller with sort of planes on it and Bond type girl, I'm guessing. And then I sort of realised at the bottom it's got 505 games, and then when you look at the back and you read it, it actually says that you're actually flying the planes and trying to destroy the 50-foot woman who's attacking the island you're defending wearing a bikini. It's still sealed, so I haven't actually played it yet. I should have bought 2 copies at the same time and play one of the. I'm not keeping it sealed for any particular reason, otherwise I haven't got around to playing it yet. It is still factory sealed. It's got the PlayStation 2 sort of run round there, which you can probably just about see. But it wasn't the game I thought it was, and I bought it. And then when I watched the video on YouTube, I thought, yeah, okay. Don't call us, we'll call you. It's not meant to be very good, but it's one of those games, like I said, curiosities. You sort of come across and think, I'll just pick that up. Curiosity, car boot sale, £1. You might think this is nothing spectacular, this is Devil May Cry, but please take a closer look if you can, because, and especially look at the back, this is actually all in Japanese, because this is the Japanese copy. Yes, I managed to pick this up at a car boot sale, even though I don't actually have a PlayStation 2 that can play foreign games. Just confirming it is all in Japanese. There's even a instruction thing in there in Japanese, which basically sort of saying if you have an English PlayStation 2, it won't play on your PlayStation, you fool. More fool me. But the instruction manual's all in Japanese as well. I can't actually play it. I've never actually played it. I do actually own. I'll just show you that you can see probably. Oh, I keep finding these half-naked women in the manuals. There's another one there as well. There we go. There we go. You can see some Japanese writing on that one. I actually do own the English language version of this, so I've got this and Devil May Cry 3. But I found that a car boot sale and I thought, well, it's just worth picking up because it's a Japanese copy. It's a bit different, isn't it? There we go. Another one I picked up, again, a couple of quid, car boot. This is Gregory Horror Show. I've got absolutely no knowledge of picking this up at all. and then I managed to, when I was going through some bits and pieces at the weekend, I sort of did a bit of research on this game, because I knew when I bought it, I paid a couple of quid for it, it was sort of being sold at the time for 10 to 15. A quick check the price of the weekend now showed that CEX are selling this for near enough 30 quid. They might give you 11 for it, or 10 or something like that, but they're trying to sell it for 3 times the value. So what is the true value of this game? I don't know, somewhere between 11 and 28 pounds. But it's nice to have a game like that which appears to be sort of accumulating value. I'm not going to retire off it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I've only seen it once in a couple of times in CEX. Since then I've never seen it anywhere else in the world, or on car boots or charity shops or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know much about that one. I banged on about this game a few weeks ago because there was all that Kingdom Hearts new release came out. I bought a copy of Kingdom Hearts years ago, car boot, couple of 3 quid I think, because I thought, oh, it's Kingdom Hearts and everyone raves about this game and it's Disney and it's Final Fantasy, and it bored me stupid for the hour I played it for. I don't like RPGs. I thought having the Disney element would make it more interesting. It didn't interest me in the slightest, and I just got fed up with it, and I haven't been back to it, and I don't think I'll ever go back to it. Nice cover though, isn't it? It's nice. I like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, concept. You look on the back, along with Sarah, Donald, and Goofy, travel to meet the amazing Disney worlds of The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Tron, and many more. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting, but I didn't get anywhere near it. So disappointing. This one I'm showing because it's a bit of a curiosity. Rhythm games, Guitar Hero games, Donkey Konga, anything involves that you sort of whack in a bit of plastic which resembles some sort of instrument and isn't, and then you think you're sort of like, you know, the next coming of Jimi Hendrix or Elton John. This is Mad Maestro, which is actually a conductor game, and it's not brilliant, but there aren't many games like it. The idea is you're conducting a piece of music, but you're pressing the button in time with the music when it goes round, and then you have to sort of press it softer and harder for more. It's classical music based. I got this from, I think, CEX for probably a couple of quid. I would have paid a bit more, because I used to go out and sort of say, oh well, if I've got any money left over, I'll pick up an extra game, and sort of like round out spending. But yeah, it's good fun. It's tricky to master, but if you do see it around, it's a bit of a curiosity. Definitely try and pick it up. That's worth a go. In fact, there's one game on the Wii I was going to show you, which I'm not going to. That might have to wait for another time. I mentioned Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. Here it is on the PlayStation 2. And one of the great games of all time. It's still got actually the official Ferrari licensed product sticker on it. Again, this was got from a car boot for a couple of quid back in the day. Nice presented on the inside. Again, it's Outrun. If you played Outrun, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't played Outrun, you need to play Outrun, because it's part of your gaming legacy history. You've got to play it. You've got to pick it up and play it. Same with a shoot 'em up game, R-Type. If you haven't played R-Type, the original, you've got to do it, because when back in the day, if you grew up playing games like I did, R-Type was sort of like the sort of pinnacle of shoot 'em ups. You needed to see R-Type as it was. R-Type Final. I'm not very good at this. It's slightly done from a different angle. The same way I'm no good at R-Type 3 on the Game Boy Advance, which I also have in a box somewhere. This was a car boot job. This was, I think, again, no more than a couple of quid. I'm rubbish at it, but it is R-Type Final. And I don't have many games like that, but that's a good one. Again, another car boot job. Star Wars Battlefront, the original one, on the PlayStation 2. Slight confusion with this one is I don't know how this actually manages to happen. I can only guess at some point this game's been traded and traded and traded, because it's the platinum disc inside the blue white label version. I don't know how that managed to happen. It's Star Wars, it's Battlefront, it's really good fun. Obviously it's now been superseded by the games on the PlayStation 4, but wow, whatever. You don't watch this channel for PlayStation 4, do you? And finally, one from a few months ago, which I think deserves showing again because it was such a bargain. Paid a bit more, $2.50 for this one. This is Taisho Legends, and it's got some fantastic arcade games from the past: Bubble Bobble, Continental Circus, Elevator Action, Jungle Hunt, New Zealand Story, Operations Wolf and Thunderbolt, Plotting, Rainbow Islands, Space Invaders, Space Gun, Super Quicks. It's got some fantastic games in here. The other thing I was interested about this game was that's usually a bit more than they pay for it, but this game sort of goes for 3 times that amount usually if you try and pick it up second hand, 4 times possibly. It does actually say on the front there art card inside, and lo and behold, when I got it, it was in the shop looking at it. There was an art card involved, and it's the Bubble Bobble one. There were 6 of those to collect. There were Space Invaders, New Zealand Story, possibly Rainbow Islands. It's that small I can't see it. Phoenix and Operation Wolf. But I was so pleased to see that, and I thought it's definitely worth getting. Incidentally, this came, if you cast your mind back about 3 days at the start of this video, the Scorpion King game I got on the GameCube, I actually got that and this from the same charity shop at different times. Sometimes you just find things in the same place. It's fantastic. So there's some PlayStation 2 stuff from you may have seen before, some you haven't. Let's move on. We're nearly at the end. I've only got 10 more systems to go. No, I'm only joking. Let's do some Wii stuff now, because it's my biggest one I've got, and these are some. I want to sort, you know, because most people say, oh, you know, got so many Wii games and they're all, you know, sort of shovelware. Well, most of these aren't shovelware. These are actually some really good ones, which you may or may not have seen before. Tatsunoko versus Capcom, which you'll be stunned to hear I actually paid 12 quid for at the time, last year in CEX, because I'd had such a good day out. Well, I've been somewhere I've never been before, and I haven't been back since, actually. Probably 12 months actually of this game. And I sort of treated myself while I was out there. I thought, well, I haven't seen it before. I've seen it a couple of times since. It sort of hovers between 12 and 15 quid. Again, I've got absolutely no interest in any. Only Tatsunoko because of the Battle of the Planets characters. But I've got no interest in these sort of games. But I'll probably give it a go at some point. I should be totally rubbish at it. Beat Rhythm Paradise. Fantastic game. It's a rhythm game. Where you're pressing the button in time with what's going on the screen. It is cute to look at. It is brilliant fun. It is absolutely worth a pick up. I actually paid 6 quid for this back in the day. Probably about 2 years ago now. But I read about it and I heard about it, and I couldn't believe my luck seeing it. I can't remember I saw it. I think it might have been Game when they still were doing that generation. It's actually not a it's actually a really nice copy of it. I didn't realize. I haven't played it for a long time. It's been sort of stuck at the very top of my pile there, where sort of A starts, which is in the corner here, and comes down. But yeah, it's brilliant. Really worth it. If you do plan to see it, pick it up. I picked this up in a charity shop for £1 last year. Again, I'm not sure if it's any good or not, but again, it's not my sort of game, which is Dragon Ball Z Budokan Tenkaichi 3. Tenkachi, I don't know, whatever it's called. That indicates to me it's probably an Australian copy. I'm guessing it's an Australian copy. I'm desperately trying to scour the back and just trying to find out what it is, but no. Oh, it is, yeah, Australia, Atari Australia and New Zealand. I found this in a charity shop, many miles away from Australia and New Zealand. It was £1, so I thought, well, it's probably worth a go, because it might be worth something. You never know. This one's probably going to say, oh, this is rather remarkable, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Well, the interesting thing about this one was I bought this and a couple of other Wii games. I think what was sort of packaged with it wasn't anything particularly special. I think there was a couple of FIFA games, FIFA and a Tiger Woods, and it was a little pawn shop, pawnbrokers not far from where I live, and I think it was that one and 2 others for £4. And that in itself, at the sort of quite comfortably, sort of sits in that £6 to £10 bracket quite comfortably. So to get 3 games for £4 and that amongst them was a bit of a find. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. I mean, if you've not played Donkey Kong Country again, like Outrun, you've got to play it as part of your game in Legacy. It's really good fun. It's tricky. It's a tricky old game. Bit too tricky for me, I'm afraid. But yeah. Bit Trip Complete, which is a series of really basic looking games. But my goodness me, the gameplay is there. This is sort of going back to how games were. They didn't look great, or there wasn't much to them, but it was the gameplay that sort of dragged you back in. Again, shockingly, I have paid £6.99 for this back in the day. Again, this was a game job. In fact, I say £6.99. I might have picked. Game was still at the time doing 3 for 2 on used, so this might have sort of bought this in a couple of others as well. So maybe it was priced £6.99, but I wouldn't have paid £6.99 for it. What also is fantastic as well is there's also a soundtrack disc in there as well, which is all the music from the game. So these initially were, I think, released on the WiiWare Wii Shop system, so they were all available individually, and then what they did was they brought this out, which is Beat Trip, Beat, Core, Void, Runner, Fate and Flux. Try saying that when you've had no alcohol whatsoever, as I just failed to do. But yeah, it's a real gem, that one, and it's just great fun, and not a game I've seen all that often out in the wild. So worth them. Here's another one I haven't seen much in the wild of either, and this is Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Skies, which is a follow-up to an N64 game. Interesting thing about this one was I picked this up from Game for $4.99. Now, when I did that, CEX were, and are still selling it at double the price. It's still, I think, about 10 to 12 quid now. It's an on-the-rail shooter. It's yeah, really sort of like intense, great graphics and things like that. If you've not played it, you need to have a go and just see what it's all about. It's a good shooter. A lot of good shooters around. The Wii is sort of tailor-made for things like shooting. You've got the Resident Evil games, you've got Call of Duty games, you've got House of the Dead games. This is another one. That's what it's there for. Give it a go. But yeah, when I said pay no more than 5 or 6 quid for these games, the last couple are sort of like in this pile are sort of right up there with the value. But that was worth every penny, believe me. Now, I haven't opened this one. I got this off Amazon. There's a reason I got this off Amazon. This is Sesame Street Ready Steady Grover, which I think I paid 3 quid for. I think it was because I was trying to use my birthday money up. I thought, what can I find? It actually comes with a Wii Remote cover in the face of Grover, well-known Sesame Street character. And this, I think, also is, I think it's an American game. It's not a UK release, that's for sure, because you can see by the G there. And it's going to stay in its case for the time being, because it's staying its wrapping, because I don't really want to take it out of the box, to be honest with you. Just a bit nice. I mean, it's a kid's game at the end of the day. It's probably too challenging for me. Muramasa the Demon Blade. And I said at the start of this game, I've not paid any more than... You've already seen Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Here's another one, which I've paid a bit more than that for. I actually paid 15 for this. But I did go out and buy this especially because I'd never seen it in the shop before, and I'd never seen it at a price like that. And lo and behold, 2 days after I bought it, the price went back up again. And I think a few months ago I saw it back sort of nearly double the price. It's a beautiful to look at game for the Wii. If you've never played it before, pop on YouTube, have a look at some gameplay videos. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I've got to be honest with you, it's a bit dull, a bit repetitive, but beautiful to look at. They left all the Japanese language in there. They just subtitled it rather than try and dub it over. One of the best looking games on the system, but it's a bit dull. Yeah, I'm just making your own opinions up about the sort of games that I buy. Wanchambara Bikini Zombie Slayers, which I specifically went after because the price had dropped down to, I think it was 6 quid. I'd actually missed out. It actually dropped down to 4, I think, at one point. It's gone back up again now. But yeah, it's a zombie slasher type game with some sort of female characters. I went out to buy it. This was one of the first games I just moved swiftly on from that one. One of the first games I actually bought for the week when I started ramming up the collection. And again, I think I paid this was priced at $3.99, but again, it would have been bought from games, so I probably would have bought a couple of other games at the same time. This is Little King's Story, which many people over the years have sort of professed is very much a hidden gem. It's sort of a bit like Pikmin and Populous and SimCity type games, but yeah, got very, very good reviews and basically was ignored by pretty much everybody. It's not over expensive to buy. You can pick it up fairly cheap. Even for a game like that, it's still fairly cheap. So if you do come across a copy, pick it up. That's what I did. And you come across them quite often. One game I've never seen since I picked it up from the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog is Ivy the Kiwi. I saw this in a CEX, and I think I paid £5 for it, and then the justification on that one was because I haven't seen it before and I have not seen it since. And the idea is you've got a Kiwi, which Ivy the Kiwi stars the game, and what you do with the Wii remote is you draw lines, and she runs up that, and you sort of take her through to the end of the level, and you've got to keep drawing bits and pieces on the screen for her to keep running round. It's interesting, and it's from the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, so it's always worth a look. I think I paid a £5 for that back in the day. I think it's still about the same price now, so if you do come across it, pick it up, because I haven't seen that very often. And the final game from the Wii collection, which I probably showed you again I think I may not have shown you this one, probably not, is Ghostbusters. Oops, there we go. And I picked this up, I think it was CEX, and I think they were doing it at about, pick up from Game, I think they were doing it at £4.99, whereas CEX were doing it at £8.99. I think the prices have sort of changed somewhat since then now, and it's gone the other way around. In fact, I think the 360 version is the most expensive one of the lot of them. I'm just going to put this on the floor. So that's some Wii stuff there. I've now got 2 piles to go. Okay, I shall be as quick as I possibly can. Ugh. Let's do some Xbox 360 stuff, and then we're nearly there. So again, this was sort of before Christmas or just after Christmas, I can't quite remember. Football management games, most people tend to ignore them because they're ten aplenty and they make loads of them and they just disappear. Not so much Football Manager 2008 on the Xbox 360, because I was about to walk past that for I think it was 30 odd p. I think it was buy one get one free, wasn't it, or buy 3 for £1. I can't remember. You'll have to go back and watch the video. I didn't realise until I got back to home that this was actually sort of going for about £6 to £8 in CEX, and I was about to walk past it for 30p. So I had to run back to the shop the next day on a Sunday, and they were actually open on a Sunday, charity shop, and picked it up along with LMA Manager 2007. Same price. This one goes for even more. I think it was going for 10. CEX was selling it for 10, and I bought it for 30 odd pence only a few months ago. Pricing might have changed, I ain't checked them. But those there I picked up on the same time, complete sort of flukes. I would have left those on the shelf usually, which goes to show that sometimes you think you know what you know, and then a lot of times actually you find out that you don't. You may have seen those already. The 360 stuff has been sort of quite proficient on my channel since I picked up the 360 last May, so some of these you have going to see before. I shall whiz through them. Some of these you may not have seen already, such as the Gears of War limited edition set. It's missing the slipcase. That's fine, because that cost me 50p. Okay, tin. Open the tin up. What have we got in the tin? We've got the instructions. We've also got the inside look at the artwork book. There we go. In really good condition for a book. It's also got this sort of case here, and then it's got a copy, 2 discs with the game, and I think one of those is a making of. I could be wrong. I think it is the making of. And there's the tin. So it's missing a slipcase. It might be missing something else off it, I don't know. I can't tell. Doesn't actually tell me what it should be on the back there, but that was the first thing I bought for my 360, and it cost me 50p, and I'm quite happy with that. It's got some bits in there, and it's got the tin. Another tinned version, slightly knackered slipcase on this one, is the Gears of War 2 limited edition. And I'll just, if I can squeeze this out again, if you pardon that expression. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. Because I've sellotaped it since. That's right. There is actually another book in this one, and again, Proto Gamers don't read, because this has looked like it's rarely been touched since I bought it. Since it was actually done, there's actually the book is pretty much in immaculate condition. There's the steel book on the inside, and interestingly enough, we have this little card here, which he said was on the front. There's an Xbox 360 Live thing there, and there's a manual, and it looks like there is a disc missing, which is a bit of a shame. Consulting the back of the box, There should be a bonus DVD in there, but everything else in there is the book, the little Dominic and Maria Santiago keepsake photo, the Steelbook DVD case. Everything else in there should be, just not the DVD making of. Am I disappointed with that? Again, not really. I'm not going to sit down and watch a DVD making of a game. I'm going to play the game, aren't I? I'm not interested in how you made it. So again, that one I think probably cost me, I would have paid no more than £1 for that, the condition of it. I've also got the tinned Gears of War 3, but it's not as interesting as those. So those are nice ones, didn't pay a lot for those. This one here is The Evil Within. And it's a lovely, I don't know if you can see that, it's a lovely cover. There's like a, yeah, really sort of nice thing. When I bought this from Cash Converters, I think I paid $1.99 for this. And the guy behind the counter basically sort of said, I said, is it one of those games you play with the lights on? He said, yes, one of those games we play with the lights on and all your friends there and various other things. And yeah, that's the thing that fits inside the front cover. You can just see it's a little, I don't know what you call that, but it's a lovely, lovely little sort of 3D effect of a brain with some wire around it and something else. There's actually a booklet that comes with this. Well, not a booklet, it's actually a notepad with nothing in it, and a copy of the game. Is anything else in there? And there's also a pass for it as well, and it comes in a lovely box, and it's really nice to pick up that. And I thought, well, I'll just buy that. There's no real value in this game at the moment, being absolutely honest with you. There's no sort of, it's not sort of selling through the roof. I think there was a sequel to this game, but I've not played it because I'm too scared to play it. This is where we sort of got have trouble putting it back in the box. There we go. Back in there. But because it was all complete, I was actually stunned to sort of see it was being sold for $1.99. No, I'm going to have to admit defeat on that one and pack it away again later. This one, I've talked about it again last year, which is Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year edition, which I picked up in a charity shop for approximately, there were 3 other games in there. One I'm going to, I don't know, there were 3 other games in there. Can't remember what they were now. But this has got both discs with it. It's also got a map, the map of the sort of layout of the game, which is fascinating, except the fact, as you can see from the back there, it's in some sort of foreign language. And this is actually the Dutch version of the game, which is probably the reason why it was so cheap. But to get the Game of the Year edition for 33, the equivalent of 30 odd pence, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Absolutely delighted to pick it up. I'm just having another go at this while I keep talking. And again, it's a range, a sort of a charity shop chain where I've got some really good bargains from in the past. I couldn't quite believe my luck with that one. It was very much a case of being in the right place at the right time. Doesn't always work out like that. And one I've also got as well to show you, which I picked up last summer, which again was a cash generator pick up. This one. Not had much out of Cash Generator. They usually have one near where I live, but it actually closed down. If a Cash Generator has to close down in this day and age, then I'm seriously not sure what their business model was like. If you know the people that pay cash for stuff are closing down, yeah. And this is Ace Combat Assault Horizon Limited Edition. And again, this was bought on the proviso that there was actually sort of free stuff in there. Oh yes, there was free stuff. Copy of the game, which looks brand new actually. Also, copy of the game soundtrack. Always worth having, because I've never heard it before, so I'm not sure if it's any good or not. And also, there was a pilot instruction manual, which hasn't been filled in, which gives you an idea of how good it were. I've sort of checked the back, and as far as I'm aware, that everything that's in there, which is the exclusive sort of plane, the game, the soundtrack, and the thing was there. And again, I think that was $1.99. That was. I've got a couple of Ace Combat games because I didn't realise they were actually a series of games until much later. But again, I think for £1.99 that was a fair old pickup, that one. And it's in a box which is in nice condition. And there we go. You don't want to see me putting stuff away. Unpacking, yes. Putting stuff away, no. Right, last lot, and there's only 4 of these, so we're nearly at the end. Hurrah! Yeah, mentioned that charity shop where I got the game for 30p. I also picked this up a few months later, which was Ghostbusters on the PlayStation 3. Again, charity shop, 3 for £1. This was part of that. This game goes for a lot more at the moment. Big Ghostbusters fan of the film. I also am one of the few people who like the all-female version. Why, I don't know, but I did enjoy that one. Not so much Ghostbusters 2, but anyway, so that was 30p, great pickup. This one I got years ago. I think probably got this not long after probably Christmas one year in the January sale in game. This is LA Noire, which you can buy for pence now. It's quite a common game to pick up. I quite enjoyed this. I've never sort of given it a proper go though. I was interested to get this one because you'll notice on the front there it sort of says something to do with the Naked City and the Badge Pursuit Challenge. I don't think I've ever got that far in the game, but it actually does sort of come with the evidence in there, sort of like some film cells in there, which sort of falls into it. Oh, there's one game I was going to show, which I'm going to show off again. That reminds me. Again, I probably would have paid less than £10 for that because it was cheap, but it's a good game. If you've not played it, do so. You can get it on so many different formats now. It's come out on the Switch, for goodness sake. This one I got years and years. Actually, I think my other half may have bought this for one of my birthdays, which is the Mega Drive Ultimate Collection. Of course, the Mega Drive at the moment in the news again. Gaming news about the Mega Drive Mini coming out, and hopefully there'll be some different games, because the games you got on here, like Sonic 1, 2 and 3, Streets of Rage 1, 2 and 3, Echo 1 and 2, you're already up to 8 games, you've got 40 on here. Shining Force 1 and 2, Golden Axe 1 and 2 and 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Fantasy Star 2, 3 and 4, Alex Kidd, Shinobi 3, Columns, Alter Beast, Sonic Spinball, Kid and Chameleon, Vector Man, and other great titles, which I can't remember at the moment. Hopefully there'll be some different games on this new mini, and we've already seen from the 10 games they've released, Toe Jam and Earls, and there's a Castlevania game on there, so it might be more interesting. This is a great little compilation. If you've never played Mega Drive stuff, this is a great way to get into it. It still holds its value. It's still quite an expensive game at the moment. You could probably have to best pay, at least £10 for it. So definitely worth a stab at that one. And the last PlayStation 3 game I'm going to show you, because again this was such a bargain, because I picked it up again early this year when things were like so fluent. It was brilliant. This is Minecraft PlayStation 3 edition. Excuse me again. And I picked this up for 99p in cash converters. Yes, 99p. It's all complete. Disc was a bit ropey at the time, but it works perfectly fine. And I've played it for about 2 hours, and I just didn't get it. But it was 99p. For 99p, I'm just going to not ignore it. Now, I did mention something about a film cell. I'm just going to show you this game because it's sort of gone out of sequence to everything else I wanted to do. A lot of people like this first time around to see it. For those of you who are new to the channel, you haven't seen this before, you haven't watched the videos beforehand, I'll sort of say the benefit of going back to that. I actually made a special journey for this because my local CEX had got it in and I hadn't seen it before. I have seen a copy just this past yesterday, in fact, which isn't as nice as this, and was a lot tattier, and is now going for double the price. This is the Epic Mickey Power of 2 special collector's edition on the Wii, which I picked up for a tenner. So at the moment it's already going double. There's a little bit of a damage on the box there, but as you can see, if I just tilt it like that, you've got this lovely sort of like old sort of style TV. There's like a raised sort of plastic bit there, nicely done. You can see it's already got the banding around it, which we can just remove, which tells you what's on there. You can see I take that off in a lovely little box there. You pull that out, and then on the inside, and as you can see here, the game is sealed. So it's a sealed game. There's also a limited edition. You can probably, if I just try and, have we got any white card? Yes, we've got white card there. Just sort of see that there's a limited edition film cell. And this is there's 8,000 of these made, and this is number 1110, which you can just see on the back there for those who are interested in that sort of thing. Also in there, apart from the game and the film cell, there's also two other things. One which was a limited edition figurine, which I'll just show you exists there. Okay, you can see it there. Hasn't been put together, it's still in the bag. I shall leave it in the bag. Also in here as well, which you did see on the back of the box briefly, is what I thought was an eraser. Oops. An eraser, yeah. Obviously I grew up in the 80s, so people giving away sort of erasers and novelty rubbers was part of the thing back in the day. But actually, it's a memory stick. Okay, a USB memory stick, and actually it contains lots of extra features about the development of the game and things on it. I'm not sure how big it is in terms of size, whether I can wipe it. Yeah, Cosworld USB stick packed with Disney content, including behind the scenes commentary from the creator writer of Disney Epic Mickey 2, Warren Spector. And the just so you're interested to know, the film cell came from the 1928 Oswald short film The Fox Chase. That means anything to you or not, I don't know. But that was great. That cost me a tenner, and to be honest with you, I saw one at the weekend. I saw one yesterday, and it was absolutely battered beyond belief. And I think the bloke in CEX, when I went down and couldn't quite believe the quality of it either as well. And I did say I'd made a special journey down there just that morning to try and pick it up before somebody else got there and sort of took it. And I was thrilled. I never regret it since. And it's one of my most favourite things I've got. And I just leave it sat there on the shelf to look at it. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this marathon video, which I hope makes up for the fact there's been very little going on for the last few weeks or so. That is just a taster of what I've got. There is an awful, in all fairness, there's an awful lot of crap that I haven't shown you, and believe me, there's a lot of crap. But some of those there are things that I've really taken great joy in picking up and quite found it, and I'm hopefully that you'll recognise some of those games. You might even inspire you to go and pick them up yourself if you see them enough, or you can relate to me your experiences of playing those games, because that would be fantastic if you could do so. If you've liked what you've seen and you managed to stay awake all the way through, fantastic, thank you very much indeed. Please do feel free to subscribe, leave me a comment and ring the bell, which will probably wake you up to indicate that the video is now finished. As I said, other videos in the pipeline. I'm really hoping we can get this push over to the Magic 3 figures and get to 100. If I do get to 100, wow, I will be absolutely thrilled. It's been a bit of a slog, but last sort of 6 months or so have been really fantastic. So that's it for me. All that remains to be said is thank you very much indeed for watching. Do take care. I hope we see you again very, very soon. I'm done. Thanks very much indeed. Bye bye there.